Hello dear kids, welcome back to the social science class, and today we are going to learn a new chapter from history, that is Rise of Autonomous States in the 18th century. And in this chapter we are going to learn about the causes of the decline of Mughal Empire after Aurangzeb's reign, and about the emergence of regional kingdoms in the 18th century, and also about the rise of the Marathas under Shivaji. So let us have a look into the mind map. Rise of autonomous states in the 18th century. We will learn the crisis in the Mughal Empire that we have already discussed in the previous chapter, and the emergence of new states like Bengal, Awadh and Hyderabad. And here rise of regional powers, the Rajputs, the Jats, the Sikhs and also the Marathas. And dear kids, let's learn together. The Mughal Empire reached its greatest extent during the time of Aurangzeb, but it is collapsed with dramatic suddenness within a few decades after the death of Aurangzeb. The boundaries of the Mughal Empire were reshaped by the emergence of the autonomous states, right? By later half of the 18th century, the European trading companies captured few of the territories. So here, let us have a look into the important reasons behind the decline of Mughal Empire, which we have already learned. Crisis in the Mughal Empire. So here you can see the first, Aurangzeb's religious policies with both the Deccan and the Rajputs contributed heavily to the downfall of the empire. So this is the first point. And what about the second? Lack of worthy and competent successors, weak rulers. And the third, the absence of any definite law of succession. And as we all know, they followed the time-honored tradition of succession, right? In which the inheritance of the throne was shared among the brothers. Yes. And this left room for conflict among these brothers who were keen to rule the Mughal Empire, right? And the next is the vast area of Mughal Empire had become impossible for one single ruler to rule or to control. And the last one was the raids by Nadir Shah, or the invasions of Nadir Shah and repeated invasions of Ahmad Shah Abdali resulted in further decline of the empire. So these are the main points behind the decline of the Mughal Empire. So let us see the invasion of Ahmad Shah Abdali, and we can learn also about the invasions of Nadir Shah. The first one is the invasions of Nadir Shah. Nadir Shah, the ruler of Iran, plundered the city of Delhi in 1739 and carried away with the immense wealth, including the Kohinoor diamonds and the jewel-studded peacock throne of Shah Jahan. Okay, good. And the second is invasion of Ahmad Shah Abdali, which is mentioned here. Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded India 5 times between 1748 and 1761. And his total plunder has been estimated almost rupees 70 crores, which enabled him to exempt his own kingdom from taxation for 3 years. Okay, because he looted a lot of amount from India. And next, before leaving Delhi after the third battle of Panipat in 1761, Ahmad Shah declared Shah Alam II as the emperor. Okay, and one more reason was there behind the Mughal decline, that is Jagardari crisis. So during Aurangzeb rule, the Jagirdarii system had started crumbling. Yes, there was a crisis of Jagir land as there was little land compared to the number of Mansamdas, military rulers, who were to be allotted Jagirs. Yes. And as a result, the Jagirdas began to extract more revenue from the peasantry, from the farmers. And the nobles became more powerful under the later Mughals, who were weak. Right? And the Mughal control went leading to revolts. Mughal control waned leading to revolts by the Jats, Satnamis, Sikhs, Marathas and many others in the northern India against the Mughal Empire. And let us see one more thing coming of British and French powers. The already weakened empire faced further encroachment by the British and the French, which proved to be the last nail in the empire coffin. And soon the British became masters of the whole of India. Got it? So these are the reasons behind the decline of Mughal Empire. And now we are going to learn about the main thing or the essence of our chapter, rise of different regional powers. With the declining power of the Mughal Empire in the 18th century, there emerged various autonomous states. So here you can see the map of India, regional powers in mid-18th century. So here you can see Sikhs and Mughals here, Rajputs here, then the Marathas, Awadh, Bengal, Peshwa, Mysore, many are over here. Okay. So in this area, this red color area are British territories. And these are Ranjit Singh's kingdom, that is Sikhs. And this yellow color, sites of war, that is Battle of Buxar and Battle of Plassey. And this white color is Pondicherry, and this area that is known as French trading centers. Okay, so let us learn about the Rajputs. Many new regional kingdoms emerged after the death of Aurangzeb, and the Rajputs established their independent kingdom, and Sawai Jai Singh was one of the prominent Rajput ruler during the 18th century. Okay, name that ruler. The ruler is Sawai Jai Singh. So he is one of the prominent Rajput ruler. And do you know the Pink City, Jaipur, was founded by Jai Singh. Very important, please learn it. And he introduced many social reforms, and due to his keen interest in the astronomy, he set up observatories in Delhi and Jaipur to study the heavenly objects. Right? And we are moving to the next, the Jats, another one power. The Jats lived in areas of Haryana, Punjab, the western regions of Ganga, Brahmaputra, Doab, and eastern Rajputana. Okay, the Jat kingdom attained its zenith under Surajmal in 1756 to 1765. The adopted son and the successor of Badan Singh. Okay, and he successfully welded means joined the scattered Jat zamindars near Agra into a powerful state. Agra, you might have learned about Agra, right? Taj Mahal and all. Yes. And the next is Sikhs. It's very important. The Afghan defeat the Maratha armies accelerated the breakaway of Punjab from Delhi and helped in the foundation of the Sikh overlordship in the northwest. Okay, and the Sikh had already organized themselves as a political community during the 17th century, And this helped them in the 18th century to carve out an autonomous state for themselves. Okay, and the Sikhs rose up against the economic and political repressions in Punjab towards the end of Aurangzeb's rule. And guerrilla fighters took advantage of the political instability created by the Persian and Afghan onslaught against Delhi, enriching themselves and expanding their territorial control. Okay, and the Sikhs were persecuted viciously by the Mughal government. In response, Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th and the last Sikh Guru. So who is the last and the 10th Sikh Guru? Guru Gobind Singh. And he transformed the Sikhs into a warrior community. Gobind Singh established the Khalsa. Remember the word Khalsa. Khalsa means the brotherhood of Sikhs. And the Khalsa gives the community a deep sense of unity founded on symbolic acts. And after the death of Guru Gobind Singh in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against Mughal authority under Banda Bahadur's leadership. Sikhs declared their sovereign rule by striking coins in the name of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh and established their own administration between the Satluj and the Yamuna. And Banda Bahadur was captured in 1715 and was sentenced to death at Delhi in 1760. And the next is Marathas. The Marathas, like the Sikhs and the Jats in the north, emerged in the Deccan as an important force under Shivaji in the mid 17th century. So the leader of Maratha is Shivaji. And Shivaji was successful because of his ability to mobilize the peasants in his army. Okay, and he freed the peasants from exploitation by the Jagirdas and Zamindars and established direct contact with them, direct contact with the peasants. And Shivaji not only curbed the power of the bigger landlords called Deshmukhs. Okay, the bigger landlords were known as Deshmukhs. And he not only curbed the power of these bigger landlords, but also claimed to be one of them by establishing matrimonial relations or marriage relations with their families. And his coronation in 1674. So the coronation of Shivaji placed him above all the Marathas and made him equal to the rulers of the Deccan. And in 1674, Shivaji made Raiga his capital and celebrated his coronation. Raigad it is. Okay. So in 1674, Shivaji made Raigad his capital and celebrated his coronation. And he assumed the title of Chhatrapati. Chhatrapati Shivaji. Yes. And let us see the administration of these Marathas. To assist the king, there was a council of state ministers known as Ashtapradhan. Ashtapradhan. The council of ministers in the Marathas is known as Ashtapradhan. And Shivaji divided the territory directly under his rule into 3 provinces, each under one viceroy. And he further divided the provinces into prantas or prants, each of which was subdivided into parganas and tarafs. Parganas and tarafs. Prantas are divided into parganas and tarafs. And the law's unit was the village, and each village had its headman or patel. The headman of the village was known as patel. And the revenue, how they extracted the revenue. The share of the state was fixed at 2/5 of the gross produce. 2/5 should be given to the government. And the cultivator was given the option of paying either in cash or in kind. So besides the land revenue, Shivaji had other sources of income, of which the most important were the Chaut and Sardeshmukhi. Okay, remember these two words. The another source of income of Shivaji was Chaut or Sardeshmukhi. Okay, the Chaut amounted to 1/4 of the standard revenue assessment of the place. And the Sardeshmukhi was an additional levy of 10% demanded from the areas outside his kingdom, because he claimed to be the hereditary Sardeshmukhi, chief headman. Sardeshmukhi means chief headman of the entire Maratha country. And let us see some important officials in Maratha administration. It is given in the textbook in a column. Please learn it well. First one is Peshwa, was the head of the both civil and military affairs. Peshwa. And Mazumdar, another one. Mazumdar, he looked into the income and expenditure of the state. And the next is Senapati. So Senapati was the commander in chief. The commander in chief. And the next was Nyayadiksh. Nyayadiksh means was the chief of justice, Nyaya. Okay. And we will learn now about the Marathas under Peshwas. After Shivaji's death, the effective control of the Maratha kingdom fell into the hands of the Peshwas, who served Shivaji's successors. And their seat of power was at Pune. And under the Peshwas, they developed a successful military organization. Okay. And now we should think about one more battle, that is the third battle of Panipat. The third battle of Panipat in 1761 not only resulted in the defeat of Maratha army, but also spelled the doom of the Maratha cause. The two developments after the third battle of Panipat, which had far-reaching consequences in Maratha affairs. What are they? The Marathas were defeated in the battle, and it ended their possibility of establishing an all-India empire. And the second, it led to the establishment of the Maratha succession states. Now we are going to learn about the emergence of new states. First and foremost, we will learn about Bengal. Bengal broke away from Mughal control under Murshid Qali Khan. Murshid Qali Khan. And he transferred his capital from Dhaka to Murshidabad. Okay, and he gradually assumed autonomy, though continuing to pay tribute to the Mughal emperor. And he carried out many reforms, and these are very important. Please learn it well. First and foremost, reorganization of finances by transfer of large parts of Jagir lands into Khalisa. Khalisa means crown. So Khalisa lands, and introduction of the system of revenue farming, the first one. And the second, reorganization of administration by giving equal opportunities of employment to Muslims and Hindus. It's very important. Equal importance for employment, or equal opportunities of employment to Hindus and Muslims. And the next, expansion of trade and commerce by encouraging the Indian and foreign merchants, provided security to them on roads and rivers, checked private trade by officials, and prevented bungling in customs administration, and so on. The next one. And next, regulating foreign trading companies by maintaining strict control over their activities, preventing the servants of East India Company from abusing the privileges granted to the company by the Mughal farmers of 1691, and that is Aurangzeb, and 1717 it was Farooq Siyas. Okay, and the last was the establishment of law and order by suppressing the rebellions or suppressing the rebellious zamindars, fighting zamindars. And let us see the next, that is Awadh. Saadat Khan Biran ul Mulk was appointed as the governor of Awadh by Emperor Muhammad Shah in 1722. Later, he founded an autonomous state and introduced military reforms, thereby making Awadh economically and politically strong. Okay, and Awadh was a prosperous state as it controlled by Ganga plains and was on the trade route between Bengal and North India. Then Saadat Khan exercised the political, that is Subadari, or military, that is Faujidari, and financial, that is Diwani. All these powers himself. So Saadat Khan exercised all three political powers by himself. And Saadat Khan tried to reduce Mughal influence in Awadh by reducing the number of office holders, that is Jagirdars, appointed by the Mughals. For further control, he reduced the size of Jagirs and appointed his own loyal servants to vacant positions. The accounts of Jagirdars were checked to prevent any cheating, and the revenues of all districts were reassessed by the officials appointed by the Nawab's court. Unlike Bengal, Awadh also made use of revenue and farmers called Jagirdars to assess and collect the revenue. Okay, and new social groups like moneylenders and bankers came into influence the management of the state revenue system, because they provided guarantee of the amount to be paid by the revenue farmers, and which had not happened in the past. And Safdarjung, another one, succeeded Saadat Khan, and he was appointed the Wazir of Mughal Empire and granted the province of Allahabad as well by the Mughal Emperor in 1748. And the next one, that is Shahjud-Dawla, son of Safdar, succeeded to the Nawabship of Awadh as well as the Wazirship of the Mughal Empire. And he was involved in the Battle of Buxar, that is in 1764. It was between the East India Company and the combined army of Awadh, okay, in which he lost Ahmedabad and Khara, paid a huge indemnity to the British, and had to enter a defensive alliance with the British. And after the war of Buxar, the British gained the power to collect taxes from Bengal. Yes, and the state of Awadh was finally annexed by the Lord Dalhousie in February 1856. Wasid Ali Shah, its last ruler, was pensioned off and deported to Calcutta. And at the end of this chapter, we are going to discuss about Hyderabad. The state of Hyderabad was founded by Nasim Mulk Asaf Jah. Nasim Mulk Asaf Jah founded the state of Hyderabad in 1724. After the death of Aurangzeb, Mughal power weakened considerably, and the Mughal emperor was unable to punish the Nizam. And the Nizam was confirmed as the viceroy of the Deccan and granted the title of Asaf Jah by the emperor in 1725. And he became practically independent, though he continued to recognize the Mughal emperor as his soaring. And the reforms initiated by the Nizam included the establishment of peace and security by suppressing all disaffected nobles and putting down theft and robbery. Efforts to stop the plundering raids of the Marathas, though partially successful. And revival of agriculture and industry by giving incentives to farmers and craftsmen. So please learn the chapter well. Just go through the contents once again. All the best. Take care.